Okay, it's all you, and I'm going to share my desktop of the agenda.
Okay, we're calling the meeting to order. It's the Sam Flats Recreation Area Stewardship Committee meeting on Thursday, September 12th at 3:08 p.m. And in the room, we have Stewardship Committee members Tom Dillon, Mike Kelso, Mark Pope, Molly Taylor. From Sam Flats, we have myself, Director, Sam Flats Recreation Area. We have Eric Boxrud. We have via Zoom, we have Matt Olding. And then we have Evan Clapper, who's representative from the Grand County Commission. And we have Katie Stevens, representative from the BLM, also on Zoom. Okay, so the first call of business is the approval of the minutes from the last meeting. Did anyone have any edits or concerns with the minutes?
I did not.
I do not either.
Would someone want to make a
I
motion?
make a motion that we, minutes from the last meeting is approved.
Okay,
I second.
okay. All right, let's vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, all right, and everyone unanimous? Okay, approves the minutes. Okay, so the first order of business on the agenda is the budget for 2024, updates on that. So if we go to the remit sheet, oh, sorry, Matt, I wanted to just start with the graph.
Graph, okay.
Yep, perfect. So, what can we say? I have some little colored boxes here on the right-hand side, bottom. And you can see that to date, we are 14% over 2023 in revenue. A lot of that is because of our fee increase. I would say most of it. And then the boxes there, you know, are comparing the previous years. So we are doing well revenue wise. I'm still a little confused with visitation wise, and I'm waiting to have a meeting with Bill Stevens to understand it better. You might remember that when we raised the fee, now we don't have the day pass, we have the week pass. And so we never really had a good number for how many people are actually coming back. So we're gonna do a little survey this spring. Bill did, after our meeting last time, remember we had a few emails where I wrote to you guys and said that Katie had spoken with Bill Stevens at the BLM, and everybody knows he's the statistics person. And he had run some numbers and thought we were very similar in visitation to what the BLM is seeing, which is up about 6% in visitation. But now with bringing it up to date now, I need to meet with him again because I'm having some strange numbers. So we need to meet again. But anyway, we're doing very well revenue wise, and we're in line with, remember, I had predicted that we would bring in about 175,000 more this year, and I think we're gonna be fine with that, with the change in the fees.
So I've got a couple comments on this.
Yeah.
So if you take the 2023 numbers for September through December
Mm-hmm.
and you increase them by 14%.
Well, I don't know if it will continue at 14%.
Right, I'm just doing a projection.
Okay, sure.
So
Is that a number or a fee? You're basing the 14%? Oh, you're just basing it on
I'm just taking the
visitation.
numbers increasing by
Okay,
14%,
great.
and then I paste them into those white blanks.
Right.
Yeah.
The total comes out to 845K.
Wow, that's not gonna happen.
And I compare that to our 2024 budget of 965K. So,
Well,
and not quite apples and oranges.
no, but remember, again, it's kind of like we were talking, I don't know if you were here yet. We were talking about salaries and how they have miscalculated our salaries for the last few years. They also miscalculate that.
Okay, so my crystal ball is 845 to 850 at the end of the year.
Yeah,
Number.
yeah.
My second comment, this is minor, but
Do I have something wrong over there?
the cell that has 4% actually has 4% typed in rather than a formula.
Oh, yeah.
If you put the formula in, you get 4%,
Oh,
but that's
okay.
just a.
Shouldn't be like
That's
that.
an error.
No, thank you for noticing that.
So those are my two
I
comments.
wonder why that happened. Okay.
My
No
two comments on
formula.
your spreadsheet.
No, I appreciate you looking it over because, Jason was not here a lot of the summer. He's back, but he hasn't, I sent him some stuff the other day and he was just like, whoa. So he didn't really get to it. But, no, I really appreciate all these eyes looking at it. And, that 900, what was it again? They had predicted 900 and
965.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
and I think
that's
I
what the
have
fund
more, I just want to
approved.
say I have more confidence going further now because we have, people have been in their positions longer now, the county clerk, and we have a new person, Stephen Bowles. And, he's, I can't tell you his title, but he's the finance person now. And he's working with Gabe. Gabe is so involved with the elections. I think, I've had some really good conversations with him and, we were just working on the wages in the last few days. And I think he's gonna really make sure things are right.
The reason I picked that number is because your current number of 509 is comparable to the 506 year to date. So that's why it's just kind of putting in perspective.
Yeah, well, they don't always,
Yeah.
there's always a little bit
Right.
off.
And that didn't concern me. I was just trying to make some understanding of what that final number means
Right.
in terms of our budget. So
Yeah.
Well,
Thank you. Yeah, I think,
then to just put in my 2%, I think the budget just keeps going up and up, but we might end up with remits that stay kind of stable or decrease, but just because,
of visitation.
yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's,
So
well,
I'm just saying, be careful.
oh, right.
Yeah.
Well, we're on the county, system for,
Yeah. The county could be messing up, but yeah.
for the wages and salaries and benefits. We're all in that package. So
But I appreciate getting this in the form of a spreadsheet. It just allows me to play with some numbers, and it's a whole lot easier to do when the formulas update rather than having to do it on a calculator. So thank you for providing that.
oh, yeah. And I can provide you, if you have further questions, I can provide you more things. Cause like I have my spreadsheet for my salaries and benefits and on all of that. So, yeah, well, good.
Sorry, what was that question about the county calculations or,
Well, the question was just that if it just keeps getting based on approval of increase, we could run into trouble at some point, especially with the COLAs and the salaries going up 25% every year, and it
Oh,
just
it's not
might.
25%, it's
Oh,
like 3%.
I thought that's what it said there.
She's looking for a raise.
Oh, no, the wages are,
Yeah.
I mean, we have.
She just bought a horse.
I'm sorry, it said 2025, I thought it said.
No.
Okay,
No,
right.
there's, okay, so the way it is everyone, every other year gets a 3% raise if they have a satisfactory, evaluation. And then there's also some staff and myself that participate in the pay for performance. And so then you can actually get 3% every year. And then Stephen was talking to me about the COLA, that hasn't been passed yet, but he said that might be 2.79%. So then that would be more when we get to the salaries part of the budget, it could, if it passes, it could be that much more. But not everybody's getting, there's 2 years, depends on when you were hired.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's not everybody every year. Although it is quite a few of the staff are next year due for but not everyone. And, yeah, so, but I think also what I was saying, I don't know if you missed some of that Mark was just pointing out that the estimate of how much we were gonna bring in was very high. And I've always felt like some of those estimates for what we're gonna spend in wages and salaries each year and what we're gonna make each year has been a little bit high the last 3 years in the estimation, and we don't ever reach that. I don't know so much about how they came up with the estimation of what we were gonna make, but I do know that the problem with the salaries and wages was that they were calculating the seasonals at the wrong hours. They were calculating them at more hours than my seasonals actually work. So I had good conversations this week with Stephen and we got that all in line. So I feel really good about what's on there for that. And we'll just have to do a good job of estimating what we think we'll bring in.
Great. Yeah. No, I caught that. I just didn't know if there was a concern with one of the calculations. But yeah, Steve's a lot of good reports coming from across the county and other districts that he's been working with. So I think he's a strong addition to the county, and feel free to lean on him heavy for whatever you need.
Okay. Well, I did the last 2 days. I'm like, no, you've got way too much. No, but it was good banter back and forth, and I appreciated everything he did. So, and he got it in time for our meeting. You know, he just jumped right on it. So that was great.
Super pro.
Yeah. Okay, so then Matt, let's go to the balance sheet, the one you had up before. Okay, so this is showing at the top, the cash and combined cash fund. That's essentially like our savings account. So we're still close to the 600,000 in savings. And then I don't really pay much attention to the depreciation and all that. So on the next page, we can see what we've brought in so far, which, this is showing, remember what's different between the remit sheet and the this page is that they have the SAMFLATS fees online, which is rec.gov, which is the third one down, $36,600. They separate them out, whereas I lump them together on here. So they're showing a little more, probably because of how rec.gov is calculated. And also, I was just doing this through August, and they're doing this through actually today, because she printed them out for me again today. So,
Well, wouldn't they be less because you're 509 and they're 506?
no, they're 514. She printed it out today. Sorry, yeah, those are the ones I sent you. So look at the ones on the table. I'm sorry.
It's just a couple days difference.
Yeah, because some things came in. So a lot more of September came in, and I just have through August. So, yeah, so they, that's why I say it'll fluctuate 3,000 to 5,000 depending on when you look at it, because I'll take the info from Square, which is like today, and, I did through August, and then they're taking it.
Yeah.
Sorry,
I didn't know it was reprinted.
So
I'm sorry, I should have said that.
So I have a question, just being new.
Yeah.
Your we'll call it your savings, your 600,000 savings. Is there any red tape or process you have to go through if you needed to apply that to an annual budget, or is it pretty much just a account transfer?
Well, it's sitting there, and if we need to, when we do our budget, so far the only time we've had a pull from this, it's planned ahead, it's part of the budget, and it's mainly when we're doing a big project. But as far as regular day-to-day operations and everything, that's always been in the budget, and it's been fine.
But if you had to access it, it's available to you.
Yeah.
It's not like you have to wait for a CD to come due.
No, it's available at any time, is my understanding, yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, sure. And so on that second page, what else did I want to point out? Just that, they got 514. Okay, we can go to the third page then. I don't think there's any real changes compared to, as far as like what is over. We already talked about all those and why at our last meeting. There's a few of them over, but they're minimal amounts. Something that will change between now and the end of the year is that capital improvements. Lee Palfreyman, we've already bought some of the things for the Hawk campground. We've bought the steel for the toilet and the shade structure. I'm gonna buy the vault because he thinks he's gonna be able to jump on stuff in November, December. And so I did buy that ahead.
So is that reflected in your 2025 budget?
It's still in the 2025 budget, and I have a reason for that, but I just was, at this point, we'll talk about it in a minute.
Okay.
But at this point, I just wanna let you know, this is gonna have about 15,000 more taken out of that. And I have talked to Stephen and to Quinn, my supervisor, about that, said that we're gonna, because remember, capital improvements was originally just gonna be for the RAISE grant, like seed money, and if active trails and transportation started on some other trails, and that all, it was just sitting there. We didn't act on any of it, so we're just kind of pulling some in for some projects that now the BLM is able to help us with, and we've come up with this year, so. But I do wanna keep I think I have it at 60,000, is for Hawk campground area. I wanna keep it at that because I need to see if Lee can build a new toilet in G when he's up there.
Okay.
So I just wanna keep it. So our money, Sandflat's money is separate from the general fund, so it's just allocated for Sandflat. So if we need to pull from it, we're not affecting any other departments, we just have to go get permission to do it, so. Okay, is there anything on there that, I don't think there's anything different from last time as far as, like I said, the things that were over are still gonna be. Oh, I should point out one more. The contract professional services, and I did say this in the other document I gave you. On the second page of this one, which is you don't have to change to it, Matt, it's all right, because we're gonna have this one up later.
Okay.
But I just talk about, we're planning on doing a night sky video before the end of the year. And travel council's gonna pay for half of it, and we're gonna pay for half of it, so it's gonna be under 5,000 for that project. And so we wanted to make that happen this year. And so that's gonna mean that this contract professional budget by the end of this year is probably gonna be about 12,000. So we'll have to pull some money out of capital improvements to transfer over there. And I'll have to talk to Stephen about that. Well, actually, he already knows because it's in this and he got this, so, but, yeah. So that's not gonna finish off at, 44, it's gonna finish off at 12,000.
So even though that's on the agenda later on, the two other videos, you guys are just doing them?
Well, those two other ones I sent you, that's for next year.
Oh, okay.
Those big ones, we need to discuss that.
Right.
But the night sky one, yeah, I kind of throwing this at you. The night sky one, I think it'll help us with our application
Okay.
for our dark sky status. And Mark was available to come, and travel council said they would pay for part of it. They agreed to that for all the editing.
Great.
And so they had the money already allocated actually to him,
Yeah.
but it was kind of extra there, so
Okay.
found a project to go with it.
Great.
So it just came together. So anyway, and like I said, we have it in the capital and we can move it over. So that's the only thing that has come up for this year. Okay, so yeah, I think we're good on this page unless anyone has any questions or concerns. I think we're gonna be fine with our slick rock trail dumping, with our toilet, those are the bigger items on here. So. And we won't spend as much as it shows on salaries and benefits, so. Okay, so we can go to the narrative. Matt, did you find that now?
Yes, hold on,
Or I guess just the 2025 budget.
this guy.
Oh, yeah, we could just, we could just go to the budget, Molly, if you wanna just go to that, and then we can refer to the narrative if we need to, that's fine, yeah, let's do that, Matt. Yeah, okay, so when you look at your sheet, there's a change right at the top. You can write it in if you want. Okay, so see how it says salaries, 473? You can write in 439, 439,490. That's the latest from Stephen. That is not with the 2.7%, 2.79% COLA if it passes, is not in there. But that's what he has there, and that's a good number. I gave him, you know, all the right hours, but still there's a cushion, you know, because like I said, seasonals are budgeted at 1080, but most will not work that amount.
What's the schedule for the decision on the COLA? Will we know that?
Evan, he can answer
Sooner?
that.
It will be, the final decision will be with the final budget approval, so that will probably happen mid-December if everybody agrees.
Okay, thank you. That'd be great.
And then for benefits, it's 195,461. Okay.
I guess my big question on salaries is these numbers, does that give you adequate staffing for 2025, or does that have placeholders for positions that are not filled?
Isn't it just the stuff?
Or is that just budget for?
Everything's good.
Cover?
Everything's good. The only one I'm not filling is the internship because we did not get, that's on our agenda. But we did not get the grant from the BLM. Not because of us at all. We turned in everything we were supposed to, as did Maddie. She did not get hers either. Hers was bigger. Ours was 75,000. Hers was double that or more. And what happened was someone at the BLM that was in charge of this for the last 20 years retired or moved to a different position, and it just fell through the cracks, even though Jennifer Jones was asking about it. We were asking Jennifer, she was asking them. So when they finally realized that this was, that we had given it to them, they said, oh, well, we're past that cycle, so we can't allocate the money. So that kind of sucks.
Sorry to hear that.
But yeah, and that's never happened when that woman was there. We got it. I can't think of her name right now. I'm sorry. But we got it every 2 years.
Okay, well, that answers my question. So these numbers are pretty much not expected to change in an upward direction through 2025.
No, they'll be fine. And I, like I said, I have seasonals that work 3 days a week, but they're actually budgeted for 4 because we want to have a cushion there,
Great.
And so it'd probably be even a little less, but it depends what happens. Projects, things, visitation. So, I got the wrong glasses, man. So on here, just going down, I mean, we kept the same for overtime, which was in between those two we just talked about. We're fine with that. You can see year-to-date actual, we only have spent 233. But it's good to have a cushion there. Subscriptions should be the same. What else do I have? Public notices. I upped it a little bit for training. As I'm becoming more aware of some of these training opportunities now that Anna Sprout is next door and she lets me know about stuff. So office supplies and equipment, the same. Okay, we have more vehicles now. We have 5 trucks. 3 of them are leased. And then we have our 3 UTVs. So I just bumped it up a little bit. And we have tires that are going to need to be bought for at least one of them. So let's see, building and grounds, not much has been spent there. I kind of leave that as like a cushion for my supplies. My supplies and equipment. In case those 2, if I need to, something comes up, I don't like to have that less than that amount. So, and power and phone, Active Trails and Transportation are paying their portion now. So it might end up even a little bit less than that, but I think they're gonna pay $1,500. Because this gas power phone, it includes all of our phones, it includes our booth. So they're just paying their square footage, which is half for garbage pickup and water and electricity for here. Trust land fees, that's nothing, we're just stuck with that in there from the past. Okay, so here's the one I wanted to discuss and see what you thought. So we have the, okay, so what I'm thinking is,
Which one?
we're going to the Mark Finley.
Okay.
And we don't even know for sure if we're gonna end up with Mark Finley because this is more than $5,000, so it's gonna have to go out for bid. But he wrote up these two proposals. He's been trying to get these projects done for a few years, like the old growth forest one with Science Moab. So, okay, so remember we did the 50 years of Slick Rock, right? So that was about $10,000, under $12,000. But I got travel council to put in $2,000. The BLM put in $4,000. We put in, $4 or under $5,000 or something. So what I'm hoping is that somebody else will join with us. Right now, the Dave Pals and Jennifer said they would not be able to join. And I haven't been able to talk to CNHA and hear back from them. So I was kind of budgeting it like, maybe if it comes together, we could do one of these. Or I should say, if I can't get anybody else, we can do one, but if we can get more people involved, then maybe two would get done in the same year, or maybe just one. So I only budgeted 20,000. And what do I have? What's my breakdown again? 4,800.
12,000, yeah.
Let's see, let me read the breakdown again. So remember, 2024, we already talked about that. So 2025, we're paying almost 5,000 for the videos to run on Channel 6 TV for 3 videos. And then I get into plus the potential for another one. So that's 5,000. So you're saying like 15,000. So he's got about, both of these are about 10, under 10.
So I guess my one question is, we talked about having some of what's described here done in 2024.
The bottom part here.
But the 20,000
That's 2025.
is 2025 regardless.
Mm-hmm. But I'm asking you folks, I mean, it's a little high actually.
When did the whole videoing, like, are we really into making the videos?
I don't know. I was hoping.
Happening, and Mark does a great job. But
Well,
you have to decide where you're going
yeah,
with it.
we have to decide. And I don't really want to, I mean, what I said to him when he gave me these, because he had already presented some of these, like to Science Moab and stuff and different, I guess just Science Moab.
Yeah.
I think was the only one he presented the forest one to. I'm not sure if he tried to go to the Park Service with this one, but I would think that they're good videos for all the entities to use.
Right, I know.
So it would be nice, and I'm happy to try to push, get other people involved and Mark, I'm sure he has all of his contacts too. But it would be nice, like if one of these came out and there was 3 or 4 entities that helped pay for it.
Yeah.
That's where I think it should go. So I probably shouldn't say 20,000. We should probably say 10 or 1,000 or 15,000 or something.
Yeah, I just think
And-
Sandflats has, we went with these videos and they're great, but do we just keep doing them?
No,
Yeah.
no, and I didn't want, I think I kind of
Yeah.
messed up. I'm too high there. I guess I was getting worried about the, other things keep coming up in this contract. This contract budget is not just videos, you know what I mean? I've had other things come up, like, for example, I know why I cushioned it. For example, if the raise grant, right? If we're gonna apply for the raise grant, which we are next year again, if we're gonna change it, then we gotta have engineer services again. And I've gotta I'll split it with the road department again. So we're looking at least 2,500, 3,000 for that.
Yeah.
So, okay, so let's,
Well, it's good to budget it high. I'm just wondering where we want to keep going.
Yeah, I think we want to have the 5,000 for the videos on the TV because we're doing like a third of them and TRT money's doing, the other 2/3 of the videos that are playing. And then we want to say at least 3,000 or 5,000 cushion for the Raise Grant Engineer. So that's getting us to 10. And so I guess I went 20 because I was,
If you do the other video.
yeah, but we could say 15.
I was gonna go 15 with the 5K moving to 2024. The other thing I'm hearing is there's a lot of uncertainty in this line item.
These two. Yeah, yes,
And
yes.
with other line items, like, and we went over a little bit on this line item for 2024 because things come up.
Yeah,
But this is one where if we set the number down a little bit, we'll be more sensitive if we start hitting the limit because of the uncertainty. We can say, hey, we recognize there was uncertainty here. We wanted this as a reality check to us.
Yeah.
We're gonna go over.
yeah. No, I think 15.
I really even think Science Moab could pick up the old growth forest.
Yeah, this was what, yeah. The thing that appealed to me, oh, go ahead, Evan.
I was just gonna say, I think that, if we've got this draft budget balanced as it is, I think that this is something that, it is a little challenging to foresee all the opportunities that come up. I think that the videos are a nice contribution. I think that, entities like Science Moab that's trying to has a much smaller mission, doesn't have the know or the ability to tap into the user contributions like we do through user fees, and so it's, I would almost say if there was not the videos being produced, that we might want to look at possibly donations to other organizations like Science Moab that are working to lessen the impacts to Sand Flats. We give a lot of money to search and rescue for the work that they do up there. And I think that with all the trail maintenance and repairs that we're doing, the videos are a good way to try to get ahead of some of that. And I think it's okay that if other organizations want to piggyback on us, that we have a nice revenue stream through the gate to be able to produce some of these things for the community.
Evan, can I get a clarification on what you said? Are you saying we should have an either or, a video or a contribution, or some combination?
I'm comfortable with the video budget as it is. I think that if we were going to reduce it, it might be nice at looking at making those contributions elsewhere. If that
Like a
makes
separate
sense.
line item?
Yeah, so he's just saying he's comfortable with that.
20?
The videos, yeah.
Yeah, I
And
think
these
rather.
are on the website, right? They're on the website, the videos.
Yeah, they're on various websites. I think that they do play a role, even though it's an education piece, I think it does play a role in promoting and building awareness around Sand Flats, like when it's up on the Channel 6 TVs in the hotels, a lot of people are coming to the area just for the parks and they might not even know about Sand Flats. And by seeing that, it might kind of steer some folks our way, which not only lessens the congestion in the park, it kind of adds to the revenue up at Sand Flats. And, I think that I would be hesitant to hit up Science Moab for financial contributions towards the video projects. So I like it how it is, and that's just kind of my take on it. So
They won't have resources.
Yeah, and I thank you, Evan. And I think that thinking about what you're saying, I think Mark had said that, they discussed this a few years ago, 2022, and they just didn't have a way to fund it. But the one that, this old growth forest idea, I think it's great. I think people just really don't appreciate our trees as much, and we still have issues with people breaking off limbs and and just not getting it, that they're not gonna grow back in your lifetime, you know, when you damage them.
Yeah,
But
and I think
Go
these
ahead.
I think the videos are a lot cheaper than trying to hire somebody else to run around on the trails and protect the trees and, build back after. So,
Yeah, I mean, not to sidetrack too much, but I learned recently that the blackbrush are 1,000 years old. Just these little shrubs that you see out there.
No
I
kidding.
mean, that was just mind blowing, but it certainly changes your perspective when you're out there and you see these things and you realize that if they go away, they're not coming back.
Mhm.
Well, and I was looking for scorpions about a month ago, and we were on the Pinyon Trail, and finally we were finding the scorpions, and every blackbrush had its own scorpion in this big area. And it was so cool, like one scorpion curled up in one blackbrush. It's like, wow, somebody needs to study this. This is pretty interesting. Their little
Turf.
no turf, exactly, thank you. But I was also excited about this idea of the creatures that come out at night. And getting Tim Graham involved in this as well, because he has so much knowledge that, someday will go away. And I think it's really great to get this out there to the public. You might remember from our last meeting, and I didn't get the latest, but it was definitely 1.2 million views on that ephemeral pools. People just really eating up those videos. And I think people would be very interested in these kangaroo rats. And, when you go to Arches National Park and go in the visitor center, we haven't been in there in probably a year, but I think they still have that display with the little mouse that roars.
Yeah.
And so, I think there's an interest in these things that come out at night, and we don't have any local videos
The
of
great thing
that.
about these videos is they don't go obsolete.
No.
So, and we have a resource here and the quality is outstanding. So it's like you pay once and you benefit for years and years and years.
Oh, exactly. You better, you can watch those old videos from Disney when they did all those old videos, kind of like the fairy shrimp video, those really old ones from the 50s and 60s. So I feel like it's similar to that. There's a lot of educational information.
Well, that's awesome that Ephemeral Pools has that many hits.
Yeah, the most of any video he's made.
It's awesome.
So, okay, so then we'll leave it at the 20.
Okay, I have no objection.
Okay. And like I said, I'm gonna try to get people, we were very successful last time with the 50 years of Slick Rock. So, okay, so lease payment vehicles, we have 3 that are leased a year now, and you can see so far, year to date, are we only at 7,000 that's been spent? Where are we? Year to date,
7,300.
okay, 7,300.
You need to spend more on it.
Well, the thing is, what happens is he turns them in, like he took one of ours. He took the Ranger we had. We'd only had it a year. This is Cody McKinney at the road department. He turned that in and we get equity for it. And so we don't really need this 20. We're not going to spend 24,000, and we got 2 new trucks this year. So that's what they want. That's what the county wants to do for the fleet program, and it seems to be really a good thing. So,
Okay.
but he wanted me to budget 24 for next year. He says, go ahead and keep it at 24, 8,000 a vehicle. Toilet service, it looks low right now, but we will have our pumping in the fall. We're gonna get through our fall when they start doing more cleaning, so we should be good.
That'll go up.
It'll go up. It'll get spent.
Just keep looking at 2023 actual. It's
Yeah,
close.
Yeah,
exactly.
so it costs
Yeah.
a year.
Exactly. And then the clerk's office accounting fees, it has 40,920. So they are gonna calculate that. They really just carried the number over last year because that's what Gabe did. They just carried it over, but he said this year they're gonna calculate it, but they don't expect it to be too different. So they haven't gotten to that yet, but they said there won't be any surprises. Okay, so here's another good one to discuss is search and rescue. So we gave them 15,000 last year, and we were planning on giving them 15,000 this year, which we can do. but I went through their statistics, you know, as I did the year before. So for this budget, 2024, I had looked at
2023.
2022. And in 2022, they had spent, you know, based on their hours of manpower and ATVs and vehicles and all that. We did a calculation. I worked with Nancy May on it from Search and Rescue, and we came up with 13,000. And so we just went ahead and gave them 15. So I did the same thing based on 2023 recently, and only came up with 6,000. So I want to know so I talked to Aaron before he left. I think he's left now for New Zealand over at the at Search and Rescue. And you know, they would love to take 15,000 or 10,000, whatever we have to offer to them. And so I wanted to see what you all thought.
I think we should go back to 10. We've been back and forth on this. They, however they do their budgeting, they seem to be doing well.
What I just heard is it fluctuates, so
Yeah.
if it can vary between 6 and 13, we don't know what it's going to be.
This year.
But if these are actuals going back to 2022, 2023, of course
We
it's
used
an
to be
actual
at
because
8,
it's a
and we used to be
donation.
at 8.
And I don't know how they do their budget. Do they have
I
a
don't
line
think
item
so.
coming from us?
Yeah.
Well, it's through the county now. They took over.
Yeah, we transfer
Please.
10,000 to them every year and
So this is
15,000
left
last year.
pocket, right pocket.
Yeah,
I agree with Molly. I think 10 seems reasonable. Because it's kind of like right in between the 6 and the 13.
I'd go for it.
Okay.
And they don't make a request or an ask, huh? I mean, this basically just kind of
Right.
comes from us.
Yeah, they-
Yeah.
And they weren't even calculating it out.
Right. Area.
We were just giving them 10 every year for years. And then remember, a few years ago, we were like, oh,
Why are
we
we
had,
giving them
well,
that much?
well,
Yeah,
we
I
actually
know.
thought of giving them more at one point.
Oh,
Yeah.
And the committee was like, oh, maybe we'll give them more. And I talked to, oh my gosh, Jim Webster. And
Yeah.
he's like, we're fine, keep it at 10. And then last year, Kevin Walker was talking to me and he said, what is that based on? And I said, well, it's really not based on anything, but I can go back and go through everything they send me and pull out, because I always would do it anyway, to pull out how many rescues were at Sand Flats.
Uh-huh.
So, but then I went and pulled out how many rescues and the costs of those rescues. And so that's how we came up with the 13.
That's a good basis.
So
That's a good basis
But it's
for us to make our
Yeah.
contribution. It's a
Yeah.
donation.
of course, it's the previous year. Yeah, it is essentially a
We
donation.
don't want to set their expectations too high. They keep thinking we're going to give them more
gonna
money.
come out on every call.
No,
We're going to keep the basis secret.
we're thrilled they're up there, so we need them. So, I mean, if you guys had all said 15,000, I would be fine too.
Let's set the expectation at 10, and if the need is there, we can revisit it.
That's a good way to.
What do you think, Kevin?
I like that idea as well. I mean, one of the things I would be curious about is, you know, a lot of times when we're giving money to other organizations, they'll either make a request or kind of, you know, a presentation that shows what they used the money for in the past or what they're hoping to do. You know, it's basically like other organizations are making a grant request to the funders. And so, and maybe there's something else where having equipment stored in Sand Flats someplace, or I don't know, you know, maybe there's the kind of thing where they're like, hey, can we have a trailer? Or I don't know what their needs would be, but I guess definitely before we go increasing it, I would like to kind of know what they would do with it or what their needs may be.
Yeah.
And on a similar thing, you know, just kind of looking at some of the other, you know, like the scholarship fund for the high schoolers, I wonder if there's because search and rescue has other funding sources, if there is, I know we're not really a giving organization, but if there's other things like scholarships or even trainings or, you know, it wasn't until this meeting that I thought about, oh yeah, Science Moab, like maybe there's some donations to other community organizations besides, you know, search and rescue, which is basically a taxing entity, that might have other impact that we might want to explore. I could also see not wanting to manage that, and, you know, but even if like some of the trail maintenance you know, I know Ride Respect often has needs, or there's other kind of jeeping organizations that, you know, maybe we give them $1,000 for an event to eat them breakfast or something and try to get more people out there doing trail work. That's just a long-winded way of saying, I don't think search and rescue is struggling for funds this year. And it might be interesting to consider, you know, other impactful uses of those donation dollars.
Okay.
It's probably a little late for this budget, but you know, just food
No,
for
but
thought.
good to think about. You're saying like of that 10, you could be like, let's do 8 and then let's do 2 to someone else.
Yeah, well, you know, it's good you're saying this, because I don't know why it went on back burner in my mind, but last year at Festival of Science, I was out there and I went on that lichen walk on the Slick Rock Bike Trail that they had. And I just got talking to Tim Graham, and like, there's all this research that could be happening that's not happening because they don't have money. And I was like, oh, maybe Sound Flats could send $1,000 or $2,000 over to that, you know?
Interesting
And
concept.
And then I didn't do anything about it.
Well, people have to approach you too.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know the legalities of it as being an entity we are,
we
but
should
it's a
find
wonderful concept.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, and I think one of the I think with just to like close the circle, I think the RAISE grant, you know, people don't recognize the impact of fugitive dust, you know, people that are reviewing these grants in Washington, D.C., you know, and maybe some kind of funding of some scientific study specific to like, hey, the dust from Campground D is ending up in Greeley, Colorado or something like that.
Well, today was windy.
Yeah, so it might strengthen some of our other applications. So
You know, this, Katie, USGS did a bunch of dust studies out on BLM, and I don't see why they can't include Sand Flats as well. I don't know if they're done with them, but it was that same albedo effect and all that. It'd be great to get some data from Sand Flats. Mainly they were concentrating on areas kind of surrounding arches, but Sand Flats pretty close to arches aerially. So it might be worth contacting the dust study editor out at USGS.
yeah.
Dust study editor.
Wow.
His name used to be Cody, but if you just called out there and ask who's in charge of your dust studies, they'll know.
Oh, that'd be great. Yeah, just to include in the next application what they've done already in the area. Don't you think that would
Oh,
be?
they have lots in the area, and I think it would be applicable. I mean, it's close enough to Sand Flats. I mean, they're out on all sorts of roads out. Maybe some of you have driven by them in years past. They're little stands, they look like, that calculate the dust that comes off the cars. There is lots of data for this area, lots. But USGS is the group that did it.
I thought you were gonna say use the money to water the campground. It's brilliant, actually.
Wow.
Have the King Creek guy just make a turn up.
Wow, I wish I'd known about this 2 years ago when I put it in RAISE grant.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you, Katie and Evan. Good discussion. Okay, where are we now? I'm still, okay. So what else is on there? Just some basic, the scholarship fund. So
Is 1,000 enough? Is that cutting it?
Well, what it is they're supposed to, maybe we should change, I should talk to Jason, maybe we should change the criteria. It used to be if they worked past the 200 hours or something. But then we hired, we did, last year was the first year we hired a high school apprentice since before COVID. And you tend to get these very involved high school seniors, and so they end up with limited time. They're like the valedictorian, or they're, so they're in a million things. And so we didn't have anybody reach it some of the years, and last year we didn't. But maybe we could change what the criteria is, and like you said, maybe it should be, maybe we could raise it. I don't know. If we get two of them, I mean, right now, if you have two of them and they reach it, you're giving them each $500 extra.
But, Molly pointed out we haven't spent it.
We haven't spent it in a while.
Before, but you say we've got some now.
We had one this past spring, and we will hire again next spring. So in 2025, we will hire again, and hopefully we'll get two. Some years we have such a great pool of applicants, we've hired 3. It's been a while, but, and then other times you only get 1, so just depends.
It's really a good thing to do the handout to the kids that are going to college.
Yeah, well, we could up it, if we're not giving search and rescue, we could up it to 2 and see what happens, and it might get spent, it might not. Or whatever you guys, I know that.
And we could set it up a little differently than what you had.
Yeah, let's think about that for December meeting, like,
Mhm.
I'll talk to Jason and we'll come up with some ideas, and maybe we'll have, just better criteria
Okay,
for it.
yeah, I'd like to hear about that.
And maybe Jason can delegate or get some.
Yeah, I'll talk to Jason about,
Now that you got a horse, we can't use you. You're gone.
Okay, discretionary fund, that's just when like things come up. And actually, I still do give a Christmas bonus to my seasonals.
Good.
Which is just $100, but I give them a gift certificate to go to their choice, either City Market, Geezer, or Gearheads. I just, I have a whole gamut of places, and I just buy them a gift certificate. And it was actually Joe's suggestion years ago, and it's, just something to do for seasonals. I haven't done it for the permanents, but I just do it for the
I'm very
seasonals.
concerned at small tools. I love small tools. Why are you guys not buying
'Cause
small tools?
Small tools shouldn't be there.
Clipper, you
We
need to-
take the small,
Go ahead.
no, we're buying small tools. The small tools comes out of the supplies and equipment.
Okay.
We just don't bother with that
It's so
small
sad
tools
when I
budget.
see that
The
little-
problem is, when you see something when something is a line item, it can never go away.
Like, where are all the Leathermen?
I just didn't feel like sorting those,
Nothing
so I just
since
stick it all in
2021.
supplies.
Okay.
I just stick it all in supplies and equipment.
All right,
So,
thank
yes,
you. I feel
tools
better.
are being built,
Okay.
are being bought,
All right.
and things are being built.
Because they disappear. I gotta tell you, those small tools, they're elusive.
It's all that sand.
Yeah. Okay, printing and publishing, we have a good supply of brochures, so we don't need to reprint. Oh, that's a bad thing. Maybe we'll stamp them. Because we don't need to reprint our big ones
Right.
next year, so they still are gonna say 5. So maybe we can stamp them. We've done that before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Darn, yeah.
So, but the small ones, we can change them. We will reprint in the spring. We will be out of them by then. And that's the only thing it's on. It's not on it's just in the brochures, and website's easy, of course. And it's not mentioned in any of our videos, I don't think. I don't think we rate them in that. You just watched that intro. Do you remember were any of those trails rated in that?
I don't remember. No, I don't think so.
Oh, I can watch it again, of course, but
Yeah,
I don't think we rated. We just said health revenge fins, we
Yeah,
didn't rate them.
No rating.
Okay. supplies and equipment, that's small tools, that's fencing, posts, that's, wire, whatever we get. So that fluctuates, but I like to keep a good amount in there. The share agreement, that again is a nothing anymore. And then capital improvements, so I have the 60,000. I just think it's, we might have if Lee has time, we'll fix the toilet in G. And it'll have a metal surround and a roof.
Is most of that, the raise grant just a pass through from 2024 that was not?
Yeah, well, what it is the road department wanted us to put some seed money of 200, they would put in 250,000, we would put in 250,000. But we would actually get it back, but it's just kind of showing that we have, that we want this to happen and we're willing to put in something.
Right, yeah, I mean, when I was just looking at the numbers, I was looking, okay, we're only at 14 for this year. You said we're gonna do another 15, so we'll finish at 30. But it's
all because of the raise.
There's a lot of stuff that was not spent here that just shows up again in the 310.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep, exactly. Okay, so new capital equipment, we don't have any, we're not gonna buy anything big next year. For capital equipment. Oh, I know what I forgot to tell you. I don't think it's showed up yet. No, it hasn't showed up. This year, 2024, we have the 10,000 budgeted in capital equipment, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, capital equipment, 10,000 is budgeted. So I did get approval from the commission and we did buy the 2 slow signs. That, remember we talked about them last time? So,
They cost $10,000? Slow
it came to, there's 2 of them.
Well, that's a lot for.
Well, remember, they're programmable
electric.
signs.
Oh, I didn't know they were programmed.
They're also counters. They are recording, how many people are going the speed limit, how many are going over the speed limit, how many are going under the speed limit.
Yeah.
Everything can be in the cloud, we can look at it. We can shut them off at night if we want to be like night sky, but they will still be recording. But they won't be lit up at night.
Nice, that's very nice.
Yeah, so, and we can move them around, we'll just have the road department put in the poles and we can actually move them. Data. So, so really good, data. So, and the road department, you remember, they're really happy with the ones that they have in the valley, but I actually went and got the little bit more expensive ones because these are the more vandalism proof. Because if you shoot it with a .22, it's not gonna hurt it. So is what they say.
Good to know.
So, and it also has, so anyway, it's good. It's good. Because we do have that issue times. New surveillance cameras. So we got the one new one that we paid for that's at the booth. And then we're just budgeting for one in the booth and one in the front of the booth. So that's what it comes to. We've never had one
in the booth.
We've never had one in the booth, but Jason agreed with me. We feel like it's time to have one in the booth. The Park Service and the state parks have had them in there for years, and we've never had one in the booth. And Jason even felt like it would protect us to have one in the booth. For, if someone was saying something was going on, we were like, well, there's the camera, you can see.
Okay.
And the county has them, like the clerks, like they have them in most of the offices, like the clerk's office. And so anyway, budgeted for that. Office equipment. Oh, am I over in that already? What happened with office equipment? 2959.
Up there at the top.
427. Office supplies includes pens, pencils, paper.
We're not over here. Why is it showing us over here on this one? Let's check that
Is it
one.
office supplies? Well, it's not by office. It's inventory. Are you on the inventory one?
Oh, that's right, the inventory one.
Yeah,
I'm
it's
sorry, I
not-
messed
yeah,
myself
it's
up. We
not-
already knew that was over. That's
Okay.
because of things we had to get. Okay. Okay, inventory tools, we know, okay. Campground host, I brought it up a little bit because their per diem amounts are, they don't call them per diem. But the stipend for the campground host is a little bit more, so I needed to match because you might remember our campground host is actually a BLM campground host, but we pay the stipend, but they take care of the insurance and the paperwork for
And
that.
did you have one?
Yeah, we've had Fred Wilkinson up at Juniper for a few years
Great.
now
Okay,
in the season.
okay.
Yeah, and he also works for Active Trails and Transportation.
Oh, nice.
So it's perfect. And many years ago, he was AmeriCorps when
Okay.
Sam Flats in the early 90s. He's one of the first employees. So yeah, we're so lucky to have him up there.
Okay.
He's awesome. And it is our farthest flung, campsite. So it's really good to have a presence. And he texts me and, something's going on and yeah, really good communication. So yeah. Restoration, vegetation. I mean, I just seem to always have a placeholder 1,000, but sometimes seeds are actually purchased and they come out of supplies. So,
Small tools.
yeah, I know. Cause like this is showing that I didn't spend any money,
Yeah, but.
but actually we did. We
That
spent like
parking lot,
3,000
yeah.
for
Yeah,
that's probably why I didn't pull it out of there because I should have pulled some of it out of there, but anyway.
parking lot.
Yeah, well, the parking lot, that was part of that, but then when we did the, close those campgrounds in H, we reseeded all 4 of those, and that was almost 4,000. So, and that was just like the year before last,
Mhm.
so. Anyway, that's that was the last part, so. Oh, and I had a new total. But, oh, right, it's not gonna be right now because we just changed things, so never mind.
Well,
Cause I had a new total for here based on this total on here was based on the old wages and salaries. So it's gonna be, I had a new one, but now we've gone up and down with some other things, so so I had it at $30,000 less than this, but then we've changed it. Okay, so Matt, I think we can go to the PowerPoint. Yeah.
And before you go, it's just a high level question. So we're reviewing this as a draft. Do we approve the budget, the final budget at some point? Or do we just go, okay, this looks great, and we provided you
yeah.
the guidance that you needed?
Yeah, I have a budget advisory meeting in October, as do all the departments in different dates. And ours, I always put ours after, this is very important, coming to you, this is main part of your folks' job is, this volunteers on the committee is to look at this, put in your input. Then I bring that to the advisory committee. They're gonna look at everything again, and then the commission goes through the process.
Great. So we're done with it then?
We're
as a-
done.
As a stewardship committee?
Yeah,
Okay.
and I mean, if in December, if it looks like the budget advisory group has suggested something goes up or down, they really never have in the last, I don't think. I don't know. Anyway, I'll let you know about it, of course.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, so if you go to the PowerPoint, there he is. And what did I want though? Because the first thing on the PowerPoint, this thing, which I definitely need my glasses to read. Oh, the survey.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Matt, go to the next slide. Okay, so I emailed you guys this, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so this was the Government Performance Results Act, Visitor Satisfaction Survey results. And this was just the slide that I actually brought to the commission. And this is the first page essentially of it. And we had 98% satisfaction rate, which is pretty amazing. Proportion of site visitors satisfied overall with visitor information, facilities, management, interpretation, education, staff services, and program. Now, unfortunately, remember, this was just at the trailhead at Hell's Revenge and just for Hell's Revenge. I wish it had been for the whole recreation area. I think we would have gotten a lot more information that would have been valuable for us. But the BLM set it up that it was just Hell's Revenge. And I think, Katie, wasn't that kind of chosen because you were applying for the National Recreation Award?
Well, I think they were connected, but like we've done them at Bar M and we've done them at Big Bend Campground. I think the direction, and this is congressionally mandated, when you pick a site, I think it has to probably be more site specific than, they would consider Sand Flats in general, the whole park rather than one facility.
Oh, wait, say that again. So Sand Flats in
Well,
general
I mean, if
would
you
be
did
too
Sand
much?
Flats and if you did, yeah, it might be considered too broad.
Oh,
So
okay.
they like to hone in on a facility. Like when we did our campgrounds, we picked one campground,
Okay.
rather than all the campgrounds. So they like to hone in. I think it has something to do with the statistics being more applicable if the sample is smaller.
Okay. Okay. Well, we're glad we did that for you folks and that we had enough data that like we're able to get a good information.
And I think it is good to know that the customers, the users, the motorized users think that highly of Hell's Revenge. That's very admirable.
Yeah. Yep. Okay. So the next one we touched on, Matt, the next slide was just that we did not get the grant, and I already explained that, but I actually have the written things. These are, yeah, okay, so what they said was, very sorry, but we will not be taking on these 2 new awards. That was Maddie and us. These awards are from last year, and they are just now being presented for review. BLM policy is clear on accepting awards from a prior fiscal year. And they said, and they just point out where in their policies. And they said it's over 6 months at the end of FY23. The FY24 NOFO has been published and all proposals have been accepted, and this, so we missed that deadline. And we have a full workload between supplemental funding modifications and new awards and are unable to take on additional proposals from the states. If you would like to have a meeting on this, okay, anyway, I don't know, that was an email that was forwarded to me from the grants management officer, John LaBounty, that Jennifer Jones received. So.
And I would just say, let's just try again. I mean, the fact of the matter is the fabulous person who was in charge of that program up at the Salt Lake office took another job, and it just shows you what a big lack something is when a competent person leaves. So, let's not be discouraged, just try again.
But that would be
In 5 years.
due in June, right? I think-
Jennifer knows the dates better, so when she gets back, why don't you check with her when that would be?
Yeah, okay, because last time it was June, and then you don't know till the fall if you have it. So I would apply next June for.
Yeah.
You could start using it in the fall of 2025, but we usually don't start till the next year because we hire the apprentices in the spring. So the soonest we would benefit from it would be 2026 if we were awarded it 2025. So anyway, it wouldn't affect 2025's budget, is my point, I guess. Okay, all right, well, I'll ask Jennifer. And Maddie may have already asked her. I don't know. I'll check with Maddie. When is Jennifer coming back? Do you know?
She's actually next Monday. She's
Oh,
actually
okay.
she's taking next week off. She's actually done with her little assignment, but she's back east, so she's taking some time with her family.
Okay. Well, I'll catch up with her. So the next one, Matt, is the RAISE grant, and we still haven't had the debriefing yet. We're waiting for them to, Jenna Beth at the clerk's office, who's in charge of the grants, we're waiting to hear from them. So she's reached out twice. So as soon as we can set up a debrief, we will. And Dan Stentov, county engineer, and Bill Jackson from the road department, and myself, will be in that debriefing meeting, and Jenna Beth, and we'll find out what happened. So maybe we were one of the top 4 again, like the year before. So I really don't have the best, we already know what's here. This is a slide I showed last time, which actually was the wrong slide. But anyway, I already told you, we bought the steel. I'm buying the vault, we're moving forward. So he'll start working on it in November and it'll be done before the season, starts in February, late February, it'll be done. So they have time to do it, so that's great. Okay, Matt, you can, Fairy Shrimp, we already talked about, so he did some editing. Remember, I don't know if didn't we hear the static at the last one, or we couldn't hear?
know.
Anyway, there was static.
Got
So
rid of
he edited it like 2 times for me and he was able to get rid of it. It was because when he recorded Tim Graham, there was a lot of wind. So he had a way finally to remove it. And it was weird because you didn't hear it as much on some devices as you heard it on others.
Interesting.
Some others, yeah.
Yeah, so it's nice now. We're just waiting for Tim Graham to give him his final good to go. And then we'll put it on our website. So Tim is holding us up. Maybe I should call him. Anyway, tonight, if you want to join us, 8:30, Koya Willis will be doing the Scorpion Walk up at the Falcon Flow Trail. And I've had like 14 people that have signed up so far. She said she'll take 25 and she's got UV lights. So anybody that wants to go, meeting at 8:30, be aware when you pull into that parking lot, I would go into the first driveway because there's still a dip in the second driveway from the washout. And like I said, she'll have the flashlight, make sure you have closed-toed shoes. And I went up there 2 nights ago to see if I could find some, and I found 3 in about 15 minutes, so one was big. So, of course, I had my son with me, because he's good at finding them.
Does it say where to pull in?
No, see, what they're supposed to do is RSVP
And
to
then you
me,
tell them where.
and then I tell them, so we don't end up with all these people, although I kind of screwed up because I put it in Moab Happenings with all the information. But anyway, whatever. We have 15 that have confirmed, so
Okay,
I think we're gonna be all right.
good job.
Yeah, so I'm really excited. And the state is doing this with us. They're not charging us anything. I guess they have funds. I have offered to pay for their transportation and time, but they said, no, we're fine. And so it's great. And then Moab Festival of Science will be up at Sand Flats the end of the month. I think it's the 27th, 28th, 29th. They're gonna be up there on the Saturday, I think that's the 28th. And they'll be doing a star program and Mark Finley will be here filming that. And we've already set up some of the interviews, like with Nathan Martinez from Green River State Park.
He's so good.
Yeah, he's excellent. And so he's gonna be part of the video and be interviewed. And I do need I need a family, a model family. I thought of you, but you're gonna be away.
Oh,
So I don't know if you wanna send your wife and daughter over, but I need a family to be staged, watching a setup star program and be filmed. So I don't know, I thought of you yesterday and then I was like, oh,
Yeah.
he's not gonna be here, but maybe somebody
I can
else.
ask Nancy or other people.
Yeah, I just need, maybe 1 or 2 kids or 3 kids or something and some adults, and
Okay.
they'll just be filmed looking in telescopes, and Nathan will be there too in his ranger uniform. And
Filming.
Yeah.
yeah. Hopefully the weather will cooperate because we had that big storm on the 23rd when hopefully we're done with the storms when we were supposed to do our last star party. See, August 23rd, that was the big storm.
Right.
So we canceled. And Tom was gonna come. Tom and Ruth were gonna come.
I'm gonna be there tonight too.
Oh, good. Okay.
Whoa.
Okay. Great. All right.
Oh, Todd Murdoch has 2 photogenic boys.
Oh,
Oh, that's true.
okay. Let me write that down. Okay. Todd Murdoch. I have his phone numbers.
Is he related to Brian?
Yeah, they're brothers.
Oh. Don't.
Well, go ahead and ask your wife anyway if she's
Oh,
interested, and we'll see.
Katie said, don't tell him, she said.
Don't tell him I ratted him out.
Yeah, nobody will hear that on YouTube.
Okay, so it's fun, and this is part of our, dark sky application process, and, yeah, so. Okay, next one, Matt, please. Oh, okay, you remember this from last time, maybe. And I'm very close on giving everything to Anna for her to apply for us for gold standard site with Leave No Trace. And the other parts of that is doing training for my staff. So Anna's gonna train, she has a training for next Wednesday, Leave No Trace training. And then one or two of my staff have to have a higher level of training that will probably not do till the spring when she does it with the Park Service. So I'm hoping to have that higher level of training and have another one of my staff members that's interested in it. And that just puts us higher up when we're applying. But I've like compiled all these photos and text and everything for her, and I have like 2 more paragraphs to write, and she should be able to good to go with it. Then of course she'll come back to me, I would think, and ask for, something more or whatever, but that's fine. Yeah, so what else? So traffic counters on the next one, Matt, and then we're almost done. We already talked about those. There's those, your speed. And yeah, that's the end of that part. And then new topics on the agenda. Just that I went before the commission presented the annual report. You might have seen it was in the paper, in the Times Independent, I think, yeah. And then, fee change. Okay, you guys don't know about this, but you have already approved it before. So, yes, it's good. The commission approved it. So it dawned on me a few weeks ago that because people on rec.gov can reserve 6 months ahead, that they were going to be reserving their sites in 2025 for $60. And remember, as part of our fee rates, we could go up to 100. So I brought it up to 80. And actually, we have the same amenities as the BLM has, and they've been charging 80 since 2017.
Okay.
And I was like, why didn't we do something? Well, we didn't do anything because we had just raised our fees in 2016. And so we didn't want to mess with it. And then we had COVID, and then everything got delayed. So anyway, I wanted to bring them up. You remember it says we're going to bring them incrementally up over the next 5 years or so.
Mhm.
So I thought it was time we needed to bring that up. We were past due. We should have brought it up last August when we brought the others up and implemented them, but I didn't. I forgot about it. So
Give you a retroactive nod at that. That sounds great.
yeah, so that should bring in another 20,000 next year. 15 to 20,000. Bring it up from 60 to 80. So the commission approved it. And you guys had to all approve the range before as part of the process over the last 2 years. Okay, so Katie, do you have any BLM updates that would be appropriate for the group?
No, I think you've covered everything. We're glad we settled that the visitation hasn't gone down, and that was just because you can't buy a daily pass anymore. So, we'll figure out exactly what that represents at some point. But I think the report that was in the newspaper was pretty spot on. But I can't think of anything else that's going on BLM that affects Sandflats in particular that you haven't already covered.
Okay, and you know what I should say? Kudos to Lee Palferman, because I called him this week after the rain we had on the 23rd. And the little dam that they had and going into Campground G that the BLM built for us, that had blown out partially. They came up this week, they fixed that dam, they fixed another campsite that had a big rut in it from the storm, and they fixed another one in E campground. So one in G and one in E. They came right up. And then the road department came right up last week we had these ruts right after Juniper Campground. And I blocked it off with cones, and then Cody McKinney came right up to officially block it off because I said, you guys need to do it to make sure it's done right for the weekend. And then on Monday of this week, they came up and graded that and fixed it all nice. So the only part that didn't get fixed was the entrance into Falcon Flow, which I forgot to tell people about. So that was my screw up because this
Well,
is the week
speaking of
we're not gonna-
Falcon Flow, and maybe this was handled last meeting, but we do have we're getting the proposal for the Falcon Climb. I keep calling it Falcon Up. But and I know
Right.
that went through the committee, right?
Yep, they voted in favor.
Okay,
Great.
so I guess we will be jumping on that at some point, and that does affect Sand Flats, but that's kind of old news.
Great, thank you.
Yeah, and Tyson doesn't think, it has to go through all of your approval. I'm the archaeologist and everything, so he's thinking, 2026.
I think that's pretty, the list for our archaeologist is as long as your leg, not arm. So, I don't know where it would fall on the list, and that is the key thing. So yes, I don't think there are any other issues that I can think of that might come up. I mean, we don't have any riparian areas or rare fish or anything like that. We'll have a plant survey too, but I think we have a bang up new botanist, and he loves to get out and do plant surveys, so he'll be out there at some time. He's the one who answered you, Andrea, about the collecting or harvesting.
Oh, yes. Oh, I met him this
Yes,
spring
he
at the
is-
guide
he is-
training.
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't
thank you for-
anticipate it. There's no problems. It's just time and getting in the queue. So we'll get that in the queue. And if we get it earlier, we'll be happy. And if not, Tyson's estimate's pretty good.
And he should come up and make sure that biscuit route is mapped in there in Campground G. Remember where that the French guy, the French mountain biker had gone and
Oh,
going
yeah.
down that fin, and then he got in trouble and all that, and we put signs up and a few years ago. But I don't know if you guys actually have that mapped in.
I don't know if we do either. I'll try and remember to ask him tomorrow.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Anyway, that was Evan, do you have anything?
I don't have anything coming to mind besides what you already mentioned, but I don't know if there's other related questions. But no.
Any questions? I don't.
Right.
I think he cleared up some things for us.
Yeah,
That's good.
Very helpful.
Okay, well, if we don't have anything else, we can adjourn.
Great.
That's the earliest we've been in a while.
Thanks for your input.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thanks, everyone.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Thanks, Matt. You can,
Good night.
Yeah, hopefully I'm gonna stop the recording here.
okay,
Stop.
okay.